not possible to have a peace settlement in the Middle East based on politics. Because the reason that there's turmoil in the Middle East is because the land of Israel is divided, Palestinian and Jewish, and because Yerushalayim is divided. And each side wants to have their capital in Yerushalayim, a place without politics. 3,000 years ago, when it was founded by Dovid HaMelech, the first king of the Jewish people, from the tribe of Yehuda, where the word Jewish comes from, and David was not a politician, and it's why God chose through the prophet that David should be king, because politics does not conform well to truth. Politics is the science of the lie. And Yerushalayim is a place of great peace, as we see from its name, Yerushalayim, which in English they say Jerusalem. In Yerushalayim that David founded, and David founded it because David wanted to build the temple. And God said, that is the place. Why is that the place for the temple, of all the places in Israel? So God told David that there's a thing that happened there that was just so beautiful. There were two brothers who lived on each side of a hill, because Yerushalayim, the Temple Mount, is between these two hills. And it's called the most, it's like an ox, it's the most beautiful part of the ox, between the shoulder blades. But long before there was even the Jewish people, there were two brothers. And these two brothers lived on both sides of these hills. And one brother had many children, and one brother had much wealth. And it happened that one night, the brothers woke up, each at the same time, and thought, my poor brother. The brother with many children thought, my poor brother, he doesn't have any children. He has all this wealth, he doesn't have any children. I'll bring him my wealth, he should have all the wealth. And the other brother woke up and thought, oh, my poor brother, he has all these children, I have all this money. What do I need it for? I'll bring it to my brother. They both loaded up their carriages in the middle of the night and started going forth. Down in the valley, they saw one another in the moonlight and understood the intention that was in each brother's heart. And they ran and kissed one another. And God said, that's where I want my temple built. Now, Yerushalayim is the word Yerushalayim has the word Yira and Shalom. And Yira means fear, and Shalom means peace. It also means complete. Complete fear. What is complete fear? Well, there's actually two types of fear. There's the lower fear, which is the fear of doing something wrong. And there's the upper fear, which is a fear of just complete awe. When people came to the temple, they were in awe, because there were always 10 miracles that happened in the temple. And in between the low fear and the high fear were two levels of love. The lower love was Ahavas Olam, the love of the world. Things happen good, we love them. And the other was Ahavas Tainugim, a love of life. And that was between, so you had four levels. You had fear, you had love, and you had fear. And Yerushalayim was Yir Shalom, this complete fear, this awe, because this was the place where the spiritual and the physical came together. When they were building the temple, when David's son Shlomo was building the temple, no metal could be used to carve any of the stones. So these very big stones that were carved somewhere else, they were brought there. Certain things were carved there by a worm who knew how to break the stone. Why? Because metal was made for destruction. The sword is made out of metal. And Yerushalayim is a place of peace and unity. That is why there cannot be a political solution to the Middle East. And so those who try to bring peace through division in the place of Yerushalayim are doing what is completely antithetical to the pursuit of peace. What should be done? These two brothers now exist as the Jewish people and of the Arab people. Each people come from Avraham. and the two progenitors of each people were indeed brothers. Yishmael, whose mother was Hagar, and whose father was Abraham, and Yitzchak, whose father was Abraham, and whose mother was Sarah. And to Yitzchak, Abraham, who was a master of language, taught his son Hebrew, and to Yishmael taught his other son Arabic. Each language is a holy language. Each language supports prophecy. As we see that the Jewish people received the Torah, the Arab people received the Quran 1,000 years later, and in between is Abraham, who wrote the Sefer Yetzirah, which Abraham wrote talking about the letters and the forms, called the Book of Mormon. When these two brothers come together, nothing can separate us. We lived for many years together in peace. It's the politics which has separated, as is the way of Rome to divide and conquer. So what is the way to make peace in the Middle East? Is not to make two states in Jerusalem, not to make two capitals in Jerusalem, but to make no capital in Jerusalem. Jerusalem should be a place without politics, as Dovid was a person without politics. And through that, each people, the Arab people with the Quran, the Jewish people with the Torah, we would come and we would live together, because there is no contradiction between the Torah and the Quran. And the Arab people call God Allah Elohim, and the Jewish people call God Adonai Elohim. And we share so many things together, and our languages are so close. And it's through, not politics, that there will be a settlement in the Middle East, but through taking politics away. By letting Jerusalem be as it is, a holy city, where no metal could be heard in the city when building the temple, because metal is a sign of war. And at least here in my house there is peace in the Middle East, with the Torah, the Quran, and Avraham in between.